Hi, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, and today I have the Woodford Reserve Master Collection 12th edition Cherry Wood Smoked Barley Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey with 45.2% ABV. This is the 2017 version of the Woodford Reserve Masters Collection. And I'm going to actually do something I have never seen online before, and that is to actually compare it to the 2016 Woodford Reserve Brandy Cask Finish Masters Collection. Both of these are from Chris Morris, and both of these have their own special reason for existing. This cost me over in Europe. I bought it from France. For us over here in Europe, the states of America are like the country sometimes, so I bought it from France for 99 euros. This, I actually bought it from a specialized dealer. This is a supermarket over here in Augsburg, Germany, that has a special contract, and he's a pilot project for a Woodford Reserve here, and so I got the 2017 version of Woodford Reserve Master Collections for 148 euros, which is about $160, which is a lot of money. All right, so just to very briefly, I know it's boring, but I'm still going to do this. It says here, the 2017 Master Collection Cherry Wood Smoked Barley Bourbon uses malted barley that has been exposed to wood smoke during the kilning process. This imparts a rich smoked almond note to the mash that carries over in the distilling process. With 30% malt content, the Cherry Wood Smoked Barley mash bill has a greater amount of malt than traditional bourbon, and this results in a rich, fully matured Kentucky Straight bourbon. So that's a very important thing. This is different because it says here, this was actually a typical standard Woodford Reserve that was then finished for 2 years in brandy casks. Brandy, a spirit distilled from wine or fruit, is often aged in oak barrels. These may be used a number of times because brandy does not have the new charred barrel requirement that our bourbon does, and the brandy barrels that we have selected for our finishing process were created at our cooperage many years ago. They had been used first to mature whiskey and then many more times for brandy. Finishing fully matured Woodford Reserve in these barrels accentuates Woodford Reserve's rich dried fruit and nut characteristics that come from our grain recipe and long fermentation process. And if you read carefully here, it still says it here, Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey that was then finished in brandy barrels, because as soon as you put it in a different barrel, it is no longer Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey. And this just says Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey on it. So the main focus is on the smoked barley, the cherry smoked wood barley. Strawberry cheesecake, graham cracker crust, cheesecake with cherries on top. This is fabulous. This, the brandy, you take your Woodford Reserve and you pimp it up a little bit with a nice moment of sweetness. They're totally different things. They don't even have the same mash bill. It's absolutely almost a farce to compare them with each other, but I do have both bottles here, and so I'm going to do this, and I have not seen anyone else do this online so far. So far, I've only found one single video of the Woodford Reserve Master Collection 2017 Cherry Wood Smoked Barley with a total of 3 views. I hope mine gets a few more. All right, I'm going to try this. The malt is so much more. It's almost a little bitter and a little bit tart. Is it almond? I wouldn't say. Almond is from marzipan. Germany's a home of marzipan. Well, Germany and Spain. Germany stole it from the Spanish, and then they declared it its own. But I think actually Germany produces more marzipan than anyone else in the world. So Oh, this is so good. The problem is, not the problem, the secret is, as soon as you taste it, there's a lot of, there's some heat, and there's a little bit of malt, and there's some, it's a wonderful bourbon note. You have the bourbon in there. And then you have a little bit of like a tangerine that's actually in there. Very nice. Then you get that strawberry cheesecake, or that New York cheesecake with the cherries on top. I shouldn't say strawberries. And then at the end, the alcohol is there and it dissipates, and what's left is in your mouth. It's like you just ate some New York style cheesecake with the cherries on top, and it just stays with you. It's so nice. Oh, that's good. Oh, this is a solid B in my book. I don't know if you can get this, but if you like Woodford Reserve and you like something different, and you want to have a little bit of a tart, a little bit of an almondy, a little bit of a cheesecake moment, try this. Go to a bar, take a dram, try it, and just enjoy it. This is a very, very unique bottle, just like every Master's collection is. I'm fond of this. This is nice. Now, if I compare it to the brandy, so now the first thing on the nose is I get the sweetness. Brandy. I think New York Distilling Company also used brandy barrels, and they called them Applejack. And that is a certain type of sweetness they use with the rye. I was not a big fan of the New York Company Applejack. It was a little bit too young. I think it was basically 2-year-old rye whiskey. But this is very, very nice. And this accentuates, it strengthens the sweetness and the fruitiness of the Woodford Reserve. Wow. Chris Morris, I really must admit you did a great job with this brandy cask. You take the normal Woodford Reserve and you put a little bit of a raisin moment in there with a little bit of a Pimp My whiskey, and this is really, really good. There's a faint moment of tartness as well in there, like a vanilla that you kind of bite on that vanilla bean, and it's just a little tart, but it's very, very, very sweet. It's very, very, very enjoyable. It's very palatable. It's nice. I thoroughly enjoy this. This is like a B plus, almost going on to A minus. There's very, very few Woodford Reserves master collections where I'd recommend that over on top instead of a normal Woodford Reserve, but this is almost one of them. That 2016 master collection brandy cask was fabulous. This, on the other hand, is a different beast altogether. Different mash bill, 70% corn, 30% barley. The barley is smoked with cherry wood. There's hardly any smoke whatsoever for me that I can notice, but it's a totally different thing. And the thing that I really notice in comparison is the sweetness here and the tartness. It's almost a little bit bitter. It's very, very tart, but it's very, very nice. What I think I also got, I forgot to mention, is like a Hubba Bubba. Imagine you have your normal bourbon. You took a little bit of the Hubba Bubba child bubble gum. You put a little bit of then the tangerine in there, and then you put that New York cheesecake with the cherries on top. All together now. And I must admit that the aftertaste, the finish of this is something I enjoy better than I do this. The beginning is much sweeter, much mellower, much more mellow. It's very, very fine. It's very, very, just a very, very coherent whiskey. This has a little bit of elbows, and it almost doesn't punch you in the face, but it just kind of gives you a nice little slap and wakes you up and says, "Hello, do not ignore me. I'm here, and I'm going to take over your taste buds for the next 5 minutes." And this stuff is really, really nice. I like this. It's a solid B. I do not like the price I had to pay over here in Europe for it. I think in America it's like $100. They're about consistent, and I had to pay almost 50% more for the 2017 that I did for the 2016 because I wasn't willing to wait. I'm sure that when it arrives in France that I will pay the 100 euros as I did for this, as well as I should have done for that, but I wanted to be one of the first, and we pay a premium for doing that. All right, very, very nice. So, B plus, B, solid B, both of these expressions have their own advantages. Very, very few disadvantages. Bottles are beautiful. The price a little bit on the heavy side, but other than that, these are experiments Chris Morris does each and every year. My question of the day is, what experiments should Chris Morris do in the future? So I would recommend, I'm going to now steal something from Glenmorangie, Spios. Mr. Chris Morris, please finish your bourbon in a rye cask. That would be an interesting thing to do. Please finish your rye. I'm going to take it now from Willet, the experimental cask. Please finish it in an orange liqueur. And the last one I'm going to do is Mr. Morris. The third thing you could try to do would be actually to do a 4. No, you did the 4 grain already. So try to use, I'm going to steal from Cavol, try to use oat instead of barley. So it would be a corn, oat, and you need corn, oat, and barley instead of rye mash bill. That could be a breakfast whiskey. So you have your oatmeal with the whiskey. 3 ideas from WhiskyJason over here in Germany. So what ideas do you have? Put them down here. Maybe Chris Morris is going to find my video one day and actually watch it and read your commentaries and then steal our ideas and become even more famous because of that. I love Woodford Reserve. I really enjoyed my tour there in the summer of 2017. They're doing fabulous stuff. Thank you very much. That is triple distilled, one of the very, 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 very few bourbons in America that actually use the pot still method, and it makes a difference. Thank you for that. So, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Please like, please subscribe, and my videos come out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.